All right, so today's class is a little bit more about finding your breath through a liquid flow, is how I like to describe it. So it's a bit of hip work, which is where that's a water element for those poses. And really it's about getting you into a state of, I don't need to be cueing you so much all the time. I want you to be able to find your pleasure while you're flowing. So instead of just hearing my voice telling you where to put your body in time and space, this one kind of aims to, I'll give you a couple of poses together, and then I'll just get you to keep going with them, repeating them, and getting into your own flow with your breath. So we're going to start with some pranayama or breath work. And to do this, I'll get you to be sitting in a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. We're just going to start by closing your eyes over. Oh, sorry, before we start, please feel free to press play on your playlist and just ensure it's off shuffle. Okay. So close your eyes over and just begin to take a few deep breaths all the way into your belly. And all the way back out. And today, if you see me looking at my phone, it's just because I've written the flow on my phone today, so apologies. Continue with that breath. And as you inhale, I'd like you to try and get it to reach all the way down to the base of your belly. And all the way back out and emptying completely with your breath. We're going to open our eyes up. And we're going to start with a balancing breath or Nadi shodana. So we've done this before. I'm going to get you to make a peace sign, I guess. So you bring your index finger and your middle finger together and your thumb is out wide. We're going to place that index finger and the middle finger on your temple, so your third eye. Your left hand is just relaxing on your knee. Your right thumb will come to the outer edge of your right nostril, just resting there. And the ring finger, your right ring finger, will rest gently on the left nostril. And just close your eyes over as I explain a little further. So Nadi Shodana is all about balance. You'll find during the day anatomically, you will be breathing in through one nostril more dominantly than the other. And in 90 minutes, it switches to the other. And so during the day, you'll be breathing for 90 minutes more predominantly through your left nostril, and then it will switch to your right. And so this breath aims to, I guess, break that circuit and get you to a point where you're breathing through both nostrils evenly to find balance in your breath and then in your body. So how Nadi Shodana works, we're going to close over just gently. You don't want to be pushing your nose to the side, just gently closing over your right nostril. And breathing in through your left for 3, 2, 1. Closing over the left, opening up the right, breathing out through the right for 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the right for 3, 2, 1. Closing over the right, opening the left, and breathing out through the left for 3, 2, 1. And you continue this breath at your own pace. I like to visualize the breath going up into your temple, so where your index finger and your middle finger is placed. The breath goes up through the nostril, rests there for a second as you fill it, and exhales back down through the other. And as you exhale, you empty completely. And no rushing here. We aim to have the inhale and the exhale at an even pace, so for 3 counts, 4 counts. But I don't want you to feel claustrophobic or anxious. And so if that starts to happen, you release Nadi Shodana and you begin to imagine what it is to breathe through one nostril and the next. And as you reach the end of your next breath, which you'll finish exhaling on the left, you gently release your hands and you breathe in and out just normally and see if you notice the difference. So as we've gone through Nadi Shodana, close your eyes over and bring your hands to heart center. And we set an intention for today's class. Like I said, today's class is more about the flow, finding your pleasure in your asana or your poses. I'd like you to imagine yourself moving like water and in time with your breath. Bow your head to your heart center. You lift back up, lower the hands, open the eyes. And before we start moving our body, I've got one more breath to show you. So this is called the Ujjayi breath. Now your Ujjayi breath classically is employed by yogis during class for most, if not all of class. And the Ujjayi breath is designed, it's called the warrior breath. It's designed to keep your energy contained in your body. So if there's something that we need to do that requires a lot of energy and strength, we continue our Ujjayi breath. And then if we want, we can exhale through our mouth, which is not part of Ujjayi, and that will, I guess, help release a bit of anything that gets built up inside. But during your practice today, I'd like you to practice employing the Ujjayi breath. And by doing this, you'll be able to be moving with your breath. Big inhale through your mouth, exhale through your mouth. Now the Ujjayi breath or warrior breath is a breath designed to be heard. And so if you go into a class and you're hearing people breathe, they are employing their Ujjayi. What that means is when your mind starts to wander, your chitta chatter comes up during your practice. When you're using your Ujjayi breath, it's much easier to come back to your breath because you're not only feeling it, but you can hear it. So Ujjayi goes like this. Everyone knows how we fog up a window, right? So you can put your hand in front of your face if you'd like to practice, and you just practice fogging up your hand. And so you've got that feeling. What I want you to do is close the mouth over. The tip of the tongue will connect to the top palate of your mouth, and the back is a little bit more open. And what we do during Ujjayi is in and out through the nose, an even breath, and the mouth stays closed. So I'm not sure if you can hear this, but it should feel like you're kind of constricting your throat a little bit, and you'll feel it at the juncture between your ears, your nose, and your mouth. It will sit right in the back of the throat space. And so we close our mouth over, and hopefully you can hear this, but I might put this here in case. Just continue that. And if you haven't got it on this first try, please don't punish yourself or think there's something wrong. It can take a few times to get it right. But ideally, it's that we can hear our breath while we move and our mouth stays closed. By restricting particularly the in-breath, it stops us from panicking, and we're actually able to inhale more oxygen and less carbon dioxide. Okay, so we've got our Ujjayi breath. Feel free to release that now. We're going to start in our cat-cow. So make your way to your knees and your hands on an even tabletop with your Ujjayi breath. See if you can move with it. So before you move, start your Ujjayi. Inhaling, drop the belly, open the chest space, lifting the head up and lifting the hips. So you're in your cow. And exhale, pressing the earth away on your exhale, suctioning the stomach up. Cat. And you continue now at your own pace, employing your Ujjayi. No rush. And feel free to take a bit of initiative in your cat-cow and just begin to move in a way that best serves your body today. Perfect. Your next exhale, we're going to meet back in tabletop. And we're going to thread our needle. So right arm comes underneath the left, right shoulder to the ground. Hips remain above your knees. And this time when we press up, we're going to roll our arm all the way over out to the sky. So it's one complete rotation. And lifting up to the sky, it may not feel very comfortable. That's okay. And back down. Bring our left arm up and thread it through under the right. And inhaling, lifting your arm up all the way to the sky. And back down. And now I'd like you to employ your Ujjayi and begin to move with your breath. Wherever it feels good for you to inhale and exhale, that's where I want you to be. And so here, we're flossing the spine. Creating flexibility by twisting. And our spine is such an important and often overlooked piece of our body, without which, I mean, there are just so many things we wouldn't be able to do. And so we thank our spine by performing these actions and keeping it healthy. It should be able to move in this way. And so when we find stiffness, we lean into it. And your next one, we'll meet back in tabletop. Find that Ujjayi breath. Engage the core, belly to spine. The feet are really planting down on the earth. Now here, depending on your ankles and how they're feeling, option to sit back on your feet. You tuck your toes. If that is too harsh, just straight up like this, that's okay. If you are sitting back on your toes, we're working to stretch out the fascia or the connective tissue between your feet and that arch of your feet. We interlace our hands at the base of our spine and begin to really pull them down So we're opening up our chest, but we're not splaying ourselves open, right? Just push our hands down towards our feet, down towards the ground. And the chest will begin to open, the shoulders roll back, and hands are touching. Breathe into that heart space. And if it feels good, feel free to now begin. As you continue to reach down, not out, down, you feel free to open that chest space a little bit, moving into a tiny back bend. See if you can find your Ujjayi here. And release the hands, roll the shoulders. If you've been sitting on your toes and the fashion needs a bit of release, please feel free to untuck the toes or just rolling the shoulders. Back and forward, whatever you need. Just drop your neck to the right. Bring your chin to your right collarbone. And roll this over to the left. And open up your head, so drop your ear to your left shoulder. Just a little neck stretch. Feel free to slowly move through those 4 movements. So we're just rolling out the neck. Perfect. We're going to come back to our tabletop. And we're going to walk our hands forward, keeping our hips where they are, moving into Anahata. Eventually in Anahata, we get our chest to the ground, our chin to the ground. But for now, just as I am, we meet ourselves where we're at. Opening up our heart space and stretching out our upper and lower back. It's a great shoulder flexibility posture as well. Breathe into the open heart space. Feel your side ribs expand. And exhale, slowly pushing back up into your tabletop. Hands walk a little bit further in front of your shoulders. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Ardha Mudra Svanasana. Pedal the feet out. Really press the earth away with your hands. Find stillness in the legs. Begin your Ujjayi breath again. And again, classically in yoga, when we get to our down dog, it's always a call for 5 conscious Ujjayi breaths. An opportunity to return back to your center, back into yourself. I'd like you to look at your hands, bend your knees, and however you'd like to today, we'll just make our way to the top of the mat. Forward fold. So hips stacked over the heels. Engage your thighs. Engage your core and see if you can fold just a little deeper. Working to get our belly to our thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to shins, or if you're ready, to the floor. Working for that flat spine. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, slowly rising up. Feeling each intricate movement. Inhale, arms are out wide and up to the sky. And exhaling, hands come to heart center. Big inhale here and exhale through the mouth. Rolling the shoulders back again. Engaging the core. Finding your Tadasana or mountain pose. Feel free to start at the feet. My favorite place to start. Lift those toes up, spread them, plant them down. Monkey grip. Suction the floor just a little. Engage the thighs. We begin to slowly lift with each part of our body, navel to spine. Chest is strong and proud. Inhale, arms rise up without splaying open the chest. Exhale, hands come together, down all the way, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, hands come to the ground, bend the knees. We'll step back with the left foot, then the right. Now you're in your high plank. Take a moment here. Shoulders stacked under the wrists and balls of feet under the heels. Engage the core and really lift the legs, right? Engage those thigh bones to keep those legs up. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, lowering down for 3, 2, squeeze those elbows, beautiful. Untuck the toes. Magnetize those elbows together. Setting up, trying to make sure your wrists are stacked directly under your elbows. Opening up the heart space and the head to the front of the room. Imagining moving forward and up. Engage the feet, really planted on the back. Option to press further up into your up dog. Here we make sure that the thighs are lifted off the ground. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 conscious breaths here. A moment to reconnect to your center. And so we've just moved through one Sun A. And that will be one of our lots of movements that we move through. Inhale, look to your hands. Actually, just when you're ready, once you finish completing your 5 conscious breaths, meet back at the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Watching out for that straight spine. And exhale, forward fold again. Feel free, if it feels good, to feel the backs of your legs. Run your hands down all the way from your buttocks down to your feet. Inhale, we're going to rise up, vertebra by vertebra. Navel to spine as you lift your arms to the sky. Drishti, or your gaze, up to the sky. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Beautiful. Now we're going to move a little bit quicker, a little less instruction from me. And feel free to make this your own practice. If there's little bits that you want to adjust to, please, please do, because no one's bodies are the same. Here we go. Inhale, arms rise up. Forward fold. Find your Ujjayi breath. Halfway lift. Bend the knees, plant the hands, high plank. And so it becomes almost a dance. But before you move on to each next pose, really set up the first one. Shifting the weight forward, chaturanga. Untuck the toes. Cobra pose. Option for up dog and down dog. 5 conscious breaths. Find your stillness before we move back into slow. Look to your hands, step up, forward fold. Feet are hip width distance apart. Halfway lift, forward fold. Rising all the way up. Arms come out wide. Hands to heart center. And continue one fluid movement. Hands rise back up and folding forward. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, bend the knees, high plank. Set up your high plank. Be kind to yourself. Shift the weight forward. Lower down, chaturanga. Untuck the toes. Cobra pose. Press up to up dog. Engage those thighs. Suction that stomach, lift the hips, down dog. 5 breaths here. Beautiful. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Left leg raises to the sky. Hugging both thighs in towards each other. Toes are pointing down to the floor, but feet is flexed as if it's standing on something. Press into the imaginary wall behind you. I want you to bend that knee. Keep that foot flexed. Now open the knee open to the left side. Opening, creating a hip opener here. Beautiful. Inhale. Bring that knee all the way into the left elbow. And we're going to plant that front foot. Spin that back foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. We're going to cartwheel our arms up and open. Warrior 2. Lift the shoulders up, roll them back. Magnetize the shoulder blades together while extending the arms. I'm going to swap to you. Perfect. We're going to flip that front palm. I'm going to bring the back hand down. We're reversing our warrior. Back hand to the shin or to the thigh, please not to the knee. Left arm extending overhead, opening up the left rib. Breathe into that space. Exhale back into warrior 2. I'm going to bring the left arm to the left thigh. Left hand, this left hand is facing up and the right arm goes overhead. Side angle pose. Parsvakonasana. And so here it's as if we're standing between 2 walls. We're working to get our tricep or our upper arm and line it out here. So open the chest up a little bit further to the right. Exhale, straight back up. Straighten that front leg. We're going to walk that leg in just a little. The back leg, sorry, walk it in just a little bit. We're going to bring our hands to our hips just for this first one as we move into triangle. So keep the front leg straight, not locked, okay? So just a little bit. We'll begin to bend at the hips. Our left arm comes down either on the inside or the outside of that front leg. And right arm to the sky, stacking those shoulder blades again on top of one another. Triangle pose if this is too much. Hand comes to shin, that's okay. And exhale, straight back up. Walk that back foot out a little bit. Back into warrior two, bend that front leg. Perfect, so that is our flow, right? So we go warrior two, flip that front palm, reverse our warrior, back to center, finding side angle pose, forearm comes to thigh, right arm overhead, back to center, straighten the front leg, back leg walks in a little bit, shift the hips back, front body folds forward, triangle pose. And back up to center. And again. So find your warrior two, head gazes over the front, fingers, flip that front palm, reverse your warrior. And so now we begin our flow. And just as you come to the peak of each of those poses, we begin to move again. So we're not static in this class. We begin to move with the music, with our breath, like water. And you keep it on that left leg. So be free moving with your breath, with yourself. And it becomes a dance. See if you can employ your Ujjayi breath at the same time. Remember your shoulder blades draw together and down, working to make sure our traps aren't sitting up in our ears. And when you finish the next triangle pose, we meet back in warrior two. And rest here just for a moment. Exhale, hands come down, all to heart center. Straighten that front leg, rotating it so it's parallel with the end of your mat, or top of your mat. And I think you know where we're going. Forward fold, wide-legged forward fold, Padottanasana. And I will turn for you. So try and get your hips in line with your heels and find where is comfortable for you. Letting the arms really relax. Perfect. And we're going to rise back up. We're going to come back. So I think the left leg was at the front of the mat. Yep. So we're going to windmill our hands so they are framing that front foot. We're going to drop that back leg. Arms rise to the sky. Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. Opening up the hip, that right hip. Option here to continue to extend the arms back a little, opening up into a back bend. Otherwise, straight back up. Exhale, hands come to the ground. We're going to frame that front foot, lift that back leg. Back leg comes to meet the right, setting up for our high plank. We'll go through one vinyasa. shifting the weight forward, all the way down, chaturanga. Untuck the toes, cobra pose. And exhale, back up into your down dog. Ooh, nice work. 5 Ujjayi breaths here. Feel free to close your eyes over as you find stillness. Just before we begin to move again. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Right leg rises to the sky. Same deal. Thighs hugging in towards one another. Foot is pressing against a wall. Toes are pointing down. Bend that knee. And now open that knee open to the right. Foot is still flexed. And we've got a hip opener. Inhale, bringing that knee all the way into the right elbow. And placing that foot down on the inside of the right hand. Rotating that back foot parallel to the back of the mat, setting up for warrior two. Inhale, windmilling up and open. And then we're in warrior two. Feel free to roll the shoulder blades up and then back and down. I find I do tend to crunch a bit in that upper chest area. Flip that front palm. We're going to open up into our reverse warrior. So the back hand comes either to the shin or to the thigh. Exhale back into warrior two. We're going to bring the right forearm to the right thigh. Hands palm facing up. Left arm comes overhead. Activate the legs. Press into the earth. Breathe into your left lung. Exhale back up to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Walk the back leg in a little. If you want, hands on hips for the first one. Try not to lock that front knee. Just mostly straight. Shift the weight back as we bend forward. Right arm comes either to shin or to ground on the inside or outside of the front foot. And left arm rises to the sky. Again, this is the same concept of between two walls. So really open up that chest if you can. You'll feel a stretch down your obliques, maybe a little bit through the lower left back. It should be really feeling like the skin is stretching. Perfect. Triangle. Engage the legs and back up we come. Bending that front leg, walking the back leg out a little. Warrior two. And now we begin your flow. Inhale, flip the front palm. Reverse your warrior. Open up the right lung. Exhale, moving into side angle pose. Forearm to thigh. Left arm overhead. Back to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Walk the back leg in a little. Triangle pose. So all of these poses, I'd like you to continue to move with your own breath. And imagine how water flows as we try to embody that. It moves as one. It surrenders to the obstacles put in front of them. And it never dies, only transforms. find that beautiful point of pleasure that your body thanks you for moving it in such an intelligent way. Perhaps helping it feel parts that it hasn't in a while. Perhaps it's the challenge of moving with your breath or moving at a slower pace. Whatever it is that potentially has you a little more uncomfortable, have a look at that. And just one more round all the way through. With intention behind each movement. And when you've finished your last triangle pose, we'll meet back in Warrior Two. And just stay here for a moment. And now windmill the hands, framing the front foot, back foot lowest to the ground. Arms rise up. Asana, crescent lunge. Option to sink a little deeper and open up the chest. So we're opening up the left hip flexor here. Exhale, hands come to the ground. Lift that back leg. Front leg goes to meet the back. Let you now high plank. And move through your vinyasa. We'll meet back in down dog. Find your Ujjayi breath. Find stillness. Close your eyes over. Beautiful. Both feet actually stay like that. Lower the knees to the ground. We're going to sit back on our heels. Balasana, child's pose. Exhale, pressing back up. I'm going to bring the right foot to the outer edge of the right hand. And we're just going to stay here in lizard lunge. I prefer, if I find I want a deeper stretch, just to slide the back leg out a little rather than walk the front leg forward, but it's up to you. And if this is comfortable for you and you like something a little deeper, feel free to begin to lower onto your forearms. And that was our flow for today. And now we just get into the niggly points, I like to call them, of our muscles that just don't seem to let go. Exhale, bring that front foot to the back And the left leg will come up to the outer edge of the left hand. Feel free to find where you need that stretch. You should be feeling it in your groin, in your hip flexor. And if you're comfortable, forearms to the ground. And so the beauty of yoga is once you get to understand the anatomy, the alignment of each pose, where your body should be in each pose or could be, you can start to play and flow like water. Exhale, back knee, both knees together. We'll walk them forward a little, cross them over. We're going to sit back onto our bottom. Both legs extend now in front of us. And we're moving into Dandasana. So both feet are flexed. Knees and ankles and feet all aligned together, touching each other. Hands will come to either side next to your hips. Feel free to just tent your fingers, press up your bottom, and then find those sitting bones, those two little bones at the base of your bum. Just wiggle till you find a nice, still, base of your pose. Hands come down either side of you. Bring the outer arms in, so really press into the earth. Feet, toes are pulling towards your nose. And sit up straight. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, we begin to fold forward. And you meet yourself where you are. So if your hands are on your thighs, on your shins, what we don't lose is the integrity of that flat back. Inhale, close the eyes over. Exhale, if you would like a little deeper of a stretch, engage the thighs, engage the core, and just as in your forward fold, you may find yourself go a little deeper. Otherwise, just breathe. Find your mind's eye. Are there little points in the muscles that just don't seem to let go? Can you focus your breath and your energy and your attention just to that spot? Can you breathe into it enough to let it surrender and trust that you've got it? Exhale, release the feet. And we're going to move into King Pigeon. So King Pigeon, keep the right leg out, extended. Left leg folds over your thigh. Right leg also now folds under that knee. And what we're working here, I'll show you, is to get parallel thigh bones and parallel shins. So your thighs, as much as you can, get them are parallel to each other. Your ankles are going to be quite far extended. It will feel and look a bit funny. Parallel shin bones, so keeping your shins in line with each other. Flex the feet, so bringing the toes towards one another. We inhale, lifting up, and we begin to fold over. And so that, similarly with our other stretches, we don't lose the integrity of the flat back. There's a stretching out the hamstring and the glute muscle of that left leg, so whichever leg's on top. And why I prefer this to pigeon or half pigeon, which is the one foot in front and the other goes back, is you get to control the pressure here. Your body just doesn't automatically fold over the top of that front leg. And so it stops the pressure in that knee that you would get if you were doing half pigeon. And find your breath again. Find your mind's eye. Very important to sit in those places that are uncomfortable. So that is the space of growth. What we're not looking for is pins and needles. We're not looking for sharp shooting pains. And so those, if you're feeling that release, but that little bit of uncomfortableness, that's where we kind of want to sit. Exhale, pressing back up so we can swap sides. So again, parallel thigh bones like train tracks, I like to describe them. Shins are in line with one another, toes, feet are flexed, pointing towards each other. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, fold forward. And so, as you can see, for me, each side is different. I have much more flexibility in my right leg than I do my left. That's okay. That's perfect. Gives me space to grow. And exhale, pressing back up. Going to extend the legs in front of us. Slowly shuffle forward. And begin to lie on your back. We're not in shavasana just yet. We'll bring our feet up, knees into our chest, arms wrap over your shin, and pull your legs closer to your belly. Feel your stomach inhale and exhale. And if you're feeling tight in those hip flexors, see if you can focus your breath there and find that surrender. You can gently rock from side to side, massaging the lower back. And find stillness again. Exhale, release the hands, but bring them now to the outer edge of each foot, and we're moving into happy baby. So knees are working their way towards your shoulders or your armpits. Feet are now facing the sky, really trying to press up into the sky while your arms pull yourself back down. So we've got that equal pressure. We're opening up our hips. And again, feel free to rock back and forth, side to side, like a happy baby. Here, working to make sure the tailbone is still connected to the earth. It's not lifting all the way up like this. We want it pretty well down. Actually, from the looks of it, mine doesn't look like it's on the ground, but I can feel it there. So you be honest with yourself. Exhale, release your happy baby. Actually, sorry. Bring your knees together, shins parallel to the ground. We're going to grab our supine twist. So gently shift them over to the left while your right arm extends. Or if you'd like it in a cactus, that's fine, like an L shape. But shoulder, elbow in line with shoulder, and your head gently rolls to the right. I like to keep my left hand on my right thigh, but that's up to you. So again, just as when we thread the needle in the beginning of class, our supine twist works to create flexibility between the vertebrae of our spine. If you'd like a deeper twist, feel free to bring your knees closer to your chest, or if it's too intense, you bring them a little further away. And back to center, and we're going to switch sides. So find that parallel position with your shins, left arm extends to the left, knees roll over to the right. See if you can engage your Ujjayi breath here. And exhale, knees come back to center. And we slowly begin to set up for Shavasana. So feet wherever you feel comfortable with them sitting. Arms extend to either side of us. I like to tuck my shoulder blades under my chest a little just to open it up. But we keep that flat spine. Palms face up and eyes close over. Take a deep inhale to your belly and exhale through your mouth this time. That's called a cleansing breath. Do a few more of those. With each exhale, we sink a little further into the earth that holds us. Inhale with your belly and exhale, emptying all your breath out, relaxing all the muscles. Find yourself once again. And as you feel the chitta vritti start again, the chitta chatter of the mind, just reconnect back to your breath. Notice the thought, acknowledge it, and just let it float away. And just gently beginning to deepen our breath, bringing your attention back into your body. Make your way to a comfortable seat. Feel free to just lie on the side for a moment. Keep your eyes closed over. Bring your hands to heart center. A quick note before we finish. If there were moments in this practice that you noticed were a bit more challenging, just take note of those. Something like shavasana, particularly in a busy world, can be difficult to give space and time to. The idea of lying flat and breathing when your to-do lists are running around in your head can be quite challenging. And so that is the point of these practices, to help us find space to just be. Not thinking, not feeling, just be. Revisit that intention that you set at the beginning of class. And I thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today and with each other. And please thank yourself for this beautiful act of self-love. Namaste.